Hello, today I will tell you how to create or edit a bot on the MatrixBot platform. We can create it by clicking this button. Create a new bot or upload an already created bot. Let's try creating an aggressive bot. The bot has been added and will appear now. To edit the bot, click on the bot menu. And then the edit button. Let's go. This is what the bot editing interface looks like. At first glance, it may seem overwhelming, but I'll explain everything now. The name of the bot can be up to 20 characters long. You can choose between two strategies, short or long. I'll explain the difference later. We have already created preliminary API access keys for the exchange. You can view them here. We have a key created. You can click test and check the connection and balances on the exchange. Here we select a key for the exchange. Then we choose a pair. We have selected Ether. Let's take the BUSD pair. What is great about trading on Binance BUSD? There is no commission, at least for now. We made our selection and loaded up the chart. This is our order grid, which I will explain in more detail later on. The grid can be moved around and adjusted to fit with your chosen pair so that all parameters are set correctly and clearly. Moving forward, limit refers to the amount of money you give this bot control over. We currently have $100 here with all calculations in US dollars on our platform. Reinvest determines what portion of profits should be reinvested into this bot's limit after each round is closed. This is known as compound interest, which allows you to earn even faster returns. If it's 100%, then all profit will go towards depositing back into your bot or perhaps half. It's up to you to decide. Profit. This is the percentage of profit for executed orders on which the bot will place a take-profit order. The smaller the profit, the faster circles will close, but profits will be lower from each one. A high percentage of profit makes it harder to close circles, and therefore they last longer but with greater profitability. Cover. This is how much percent from the first order the last one in a grid will be placed at. Currently, our cover is 6%. Let's see what this means on the chart. 6% refers to the zone covered by our grid from the first to last order. The red-green lines are our grid or buy-sell orders respectively. Green lines represent buy orders while red ones stand for take-profit orders. Here we can see our first order with a take-profit order set at 0.6% distance according to our settings. Likewise, we can identify second, third, and fourth orders as well as others since there are 5 total here. Our unique development allows us to visually inspect how stacks work for specific pairs. For example, let's review what happens when third order executes, since different orders have varying lengths which help us find corresponding take-profit levels accordingly for every single one of them. So we check where exactly third order gets executed. Here it is. Then we go back and check where it closes correspondingly at that point. Therefore, by fitting grids onto pair charts correctly, we may evaluate whether bot parameters were selected properly and edit them if needed. If a pair is very volatile, then you need to set a larger coverage. Moving on. Offset. When the bot starts, it tries to place the grid starting from the first order. If we set it to 0, then the initial order will essentially go into the market and be executed immediately. This is not very reasonable, because even small price movements usually have corrections, and it's better for us to catch the moment when the price breaks through and bounces back, like here. We place orders with a slight offset here, for example. As a result, this allows us to close take profit more easily. As we can see here, there are long shadows on candles. This happens because the price breaks through and then immediately goes back. The bot can catch these price movements and make profits from them. Thus, an offset allows us to close circles faster and get our profit. The smaller the offset is, the more aggressively bot enters into market. The larger the offset, the more cautious. Reset. This parameter allows us to move grid behind of current market price. If it's moving away from grid. Let's say we've set up such a grid at this price, but prices went in another direction. Reset allows us not wait indefinitely until prices return, but simply bring stack closer towards current market price. Sleep. This is a pause in seconds after the take profit has been executed and the round has closed. It often happens that orders are executed on level breakthroughs. For example, here's what's happening: the price sharply went up and our take profit was triggered. The price will most likely go into correction, and we should not immediately enter the market again. We need to give it some time to cool down, from a few seconds to minutes. There's no need to hurry here. Next, let's talk about indicators, a very important parameter for starting each bot round. These are technical indicators, there are quite a few of them, and you can read about each one separately. Their task is to identify an opportune moment for entering the market and setting up the grid trade strategy. For example, on a chart we can use RSI indicator as an illustration, one of the most popular ones out there. We see a normal range of RSI 30 to 70, if prices go beyond these limits, as seen here, it becomes very overbought, which means there is high risk associated with opening long positions. On this graph below where there was strong downward movement earlier, it is highly probable that prices will rebound upwards due to being oversold. Thus, indicators allow us to enter markets at opportune times and open positions when necessary moments arise, creating ample room for developing different entry strategies. Let's create an RSI indicator with a 30-minute interval. We want the long bot to not start working when there is strong overbought territory and set RSI less than 60, for example. And we add it. Now we have two RSI indicators at 15 and 30 minutes. Notifications. The bot can be linked to Telegram, and notifications about the start, stop, errors of the bot will come to Telegram and so on. Very convenient for remote monitoring. Now let's talk about orders themselves. Let's see, we currently have 5 orders in place. We can increase or decrease their number as needed. Currently, the total deposit of the bot is $100, which is divided into 5 orders. We need to make sure that the minimum order we see here is more than $10 because this is Binance limitation. Different exchanges may have different limitations, on most pairs on Binance it's $10. If we divide $100 by 10 orders, then we don't have enough for a minimum order size. Therefore, with such a deposit in spot trading without leverage, we cannot place 10 orders. We need to either increase the deposit, for example by $500, then the minimum order will be $19 and everything will be fine. Or if we can't increase the deposit, we decrease the number of orders to 5 or 6 at most to avoid rejection. Let's stick with 5. Moving on, not all orders are equal in amount. We can make them equal by setting a factor of 0. Then all orders become 20% each. However, it is difficult to average this way. Why do we need multiple orders anyway? We don't know how long prices will move in one direction, so we gradually build up our position with several orders. This helps us get a better average purchase price and makes it easier for us to close positions with profit later on. This is called averaging down up strategy. Usually a multiplier factor such as 20% is set for subsequent orders, which allows us to more effectively average out prices, and easier reach take profit targets. We see these calculations here as percentages of the total deposit value. If we have $100, then our first order would be $13 followed by $16, etc. Additionally, there is an option to manually edit these numbers according to your own preference, like setting 20%, etc. We can also create custom grids, which is pretty cool for specific pairs if you are familiar with trading strategies. Now you have a powerful tool at your disposal. If we set the factor value here, then everything will be automatically calculated accordingly. The second parameter determines the ARC grid. It is responsible for the distance between orders. With a value of 1, the distance will be uniform. Nonlinear scales often use logarithms, but we decided not to use them because they did not provide smooth increase. We developed our own coefficient for changing ARC, which is smoother. Now you see, I'll set some large value that is not used, for example 3. We can see that now orders are at different distances from each other. The initial orders are closer together and subsequent ones are further apart. What is this needed for? In general, the first orders in the grid work more actively, and by moving them closer together, we give them more work to do. Our bot earns more on these early orders. The later orders in the stretched out grid allow us to catch bigger price changes. ARC can only take values greater than 1 or less than -1. If we set it to -1.5, then our first orders will be rarer and last ones frequent. Averaging out will be more active on those later positions, but usually positive ARC values are used. Here there's also a cool feature that only we have. I haven't seen such an option anywhere else before. You can manually set order distances yourself. For example, if our coverage is only 6%, then we could set it to say 0.5% here followed by 1. This is also a very cool feature. For example, we can build a Fibonacci grid. And it makes sense. 1, 2, then 3, and finally 6, exactly Fibonacci. In fact, the Fibonacci indicator is widely used by traders to understand when price rebound will occur. And such correlation makes sense. We even tested such a grid and it works quite well. It's just relatively large for creativity but interesting and definitely functional. The place by parameter. You see, we have only 5 orders in total. You can set all 5 orders at once, but it doesn't make sense because the orders are executed sequentially over some time. Therefore, we can place orders as they are executed, for example 2 or 3 orders at a time. This allows us not to block the entire bot deposit on orders right away. And even in some cases, if you have many bots, you can take a little risk and overlap bot deposits slightly less than their total amount needed. Let's say you have 10 bots with $100 each. We set standby by 2 or 3 orders, so that we could get away with slightly less common sum of deposits of all our bots combined. However, it should be understood that if there is an extremely strong movement in price situation occurs, our deposit may not be enough for all the bots simultaneously. But with good bot settings, likely part of them will close out and overall everything will be fine. In general, these are all key settings available to us here. And let's go back to the beginning. There are 2 types of strategies, short and long. By switching between them, we also change the type of grid. In the short mode, orders go upwards as the bot sells at a higher price and then buys back at a lower price. On the other hand, in long mode, we buy at a lower price and sell at a higher price through take-profit orders. An important point to note is that in short mode on spot trading platforms, deposits are made in coins instead of dollars. For example, if we deposit Ether, ETH, it means 100 ETH, which is already a large sum with minimum order values exceeding $20,000. Therefore, you should remember that for shorting on spot trading platforms you must have coins available for deposit, while for long positions typically, stable coins are used. Although there are pairs such as Bitcoin to Ether, BTC ETH, deposits will still be made in the second currency of the pair. That's all for now. We hope this was helpful and we'll continue preparing educational materials. A detailed version with settings descriptions will be available on help.matrixbot.io soon.